Hello and welcome to the U-Parts Group Windshield Wiper Transmission Linkage installation video. The windshield wiper linkage transmits the motion of the proper motor to the wiper arm and blade. Over time, the wiper linkage can become bent and worn. This is especially true if the wipers are used in a region where heavy snow and ice accumulate during the winter. A bent or broken windshield wiper linkage can cause the wipers to move out of sequence or prevent your wipers from working altogether. Obviously, this is a safety issue, so don't let your wiper linkage go unrepaired. This job has been considered an easy difficulty level of installation by our technicians. The suggested time for this job is about 30 minutes to 45 minutes as per our technicians. Here's a list of materials and tools needed for this operation. Pliers wrench and/or wrench. Flathead screwdriver, clip removal tool, trim tool and/or pry bar, ratchet, extension and sockets of the appropriate size, battery power wrench, wiper arm puller if needed, protective gloves, safety glasses. Today we are going to replace the windshield wiper linkage on a Ford F-150 pickup 2008 using U-Parts Group replacement. Part number WLF108. Here's some additional information on U-Parts Group. Part number. The U-Parts Group part number is WLF108. This application will fit all Ford F-150 from 2008 to 2010, and all Ford F-250 from 2008 to 2009, and all Ford F-350 from 2008 to 2009, and all Ford Lobo from 2008 to 2010, as well as all Lincoln Mark LT 2008 to 2010. The Ford OEM part number is 9L3Z17500A or 9L3Z17508C or 9L3417500AC BA BB BC DA EA. The Hollander part number is 621-0. 0535 or 62, 1-00532. The Canadian Tire part number is 021-0689. And the Dorman Products part numbers 602-314. How to change the wiper linkage on a Ford F-150 pickup 2008 using U-Parts Group replacement, part number WLF108. To remove the wiper arm, we will use a flat screwdriver to lift the lock tab on the side of the wiper arm. Then pull the wiper arm upward and release it from the head of the wiper arm shaft. We will do it for both wiper arms. After removing the two wiper arms, we will set them aside. To replace the linkage, we would have to open the hood of the vehicle. Before removing the cowl panel, we will have to remove the two push pins that run along the cowl panel using a clips removal tool, also known as trim removal tool. We will use a flat screwdriver to slack the 6 clips on the edge of the cowl panel. To remove the cowl panel, we must grab the cowl panel, lift it up, and pull it toward the front of the vehicle. First, we will remove the driver's side of the cowl panel. Then, we will remove the passenger side of the cowl panel. We must be extremely careful with the windshield washer hose that runs under the cowl panel. We have two options here. We can either disconnect the windshield washer hose and remove the cowl panel completely, or we can simply sit the cowl panel diagonally on top of the engine and still have access to the wiper linkage and work with it. In this case, we are leaving the cowl panel diagonally on top of the engine. Before removing the wiper linkage, we would have to remove the 3 bolts that mounted the wiper linkage to the cowl dash panel, as well as disconnecting the wiper motor plug. We will remove the 3 bolts that retain the wiper linkage to the cowl dash panel using a 5/16" socket. Then, disconnect the wiper motor plug. There is a little tab on the connector we would have to press on that tab to unlock and remove the wiper motor plug. To remove the wiper linkage assembly from the vehicle, grab it and slide from the driver's side to the passenger side of the vehicle. After removing the wiper linkage assembly, we will put it on a workbench. Before working with the broken linkage, it's recommended to compare the broken linkage assembly with the new replacement linkage assembly. We can compare the mounting points of the two wiper linkages, making sure that the two wiper linkages have similar mounting points. We can also measure the distance between the two shafts of the replacement wiper linkage with the broken wiper linkage. If the two distances are equivalent, then we are sure that we have the right replacement wiper linkage. We can then continue the operation. Before removing the wiper motor from the broken wiper linkage, we will mark the position of the crank arm, or we can take a picture of the crank arm position. We will need this starting position when reinstalling the new replacement wiper linkage. Then, we will use an adjustable wrench to turn the crank arm to a new position to clear the access to the nut that retained the crank arm to the wiper motor shaft. In this case, we will turn it 90 degrees, and remember that position. We will need it when reinstalling the new crank arm. We will use a 5/16" socket to remove the bolt that retains the crank arm to the wiper motor shaft. And to remove the crank arm from the wiper motor shaft, we will use a pry bar to pry the crank arm out. Or we can gently tap on the side of the crank arm to release the crank arm from the wiper motor shaft. Next, we will remove the 3 bolts that retain the wiper motor to the wiper linkage using a 5/16" socket. After removing the 3 bolts, it will release the wiper motor from the wiper linkage. Next, we will set the old broken wiper linkage aside. Then, we will install the new replacement wiper linkage to the wiper motor. We will then position the 3 bolts that will retain the wiper motor to the wiper linkage. Then, we will secure the 3 bolts using a 5/16" socket. Next, we will position the crank arm to the wiper motor shaft. Please note that we must position the crank arm to the same position when we remove the old broken linkage. Then we will install the bolt on the wiper motor shaft that retains the crank arm to the wiper motor shaft. We will then secure the nut using a 13mm wrench while locking the crank arm in position. We will then use an adjustable wrench to turn the crank arm to the same position when we remove the old broken linkage. After the installation of the replacement wiper linkage with the wiper motor, we will move the wiper linkage assembly back to the vehicle. To install the wiper linkage assembly to the cowl dash panel, slide it from the passenger side to the driver's side of the vehicle. We will align the 3 mounting points of the wiper linkage to the cowl dash panel. Then, we will install the 3 bolts on the mounting points and secure them with a 5/16" socket. Next, we will plug in the wiper motor connector. Then, we will do a quick functional test before reinstalling the cowl panel and the 2 wiper arms. As we can see, everything is perfectly functional. This has shown that we successfully installed the replacement of the wiper transmission linkage. We can now stop the operation of the wiper linkage and go ahead with reinstalling the cowl panel and the 2 wiper arms. To reinstall the cowl panel, push the cowl panel between the hood and the windshield and bring it back to the front of the vehicle. We will make sure that all push pins under the cowl panel clip into the cowl dash panel, and the 2 wiper linkage shafts fit into the 2 holes on the cowl panel. First, we will reinstall the passenger side of the cowl panel. Then, we will reinstall the driver's side of the cowl panel. Then, we will close the hood. Then, we will reinstall the 2 push pins to secure the cowl panel to the cowl dash panel. Next, we will reinstall the 2 wiper arms. We need to position the wiper arm pin to the groove on the head of the wiper linkage shaft. We also need to open the lock tab on the side of the wiper arm, so we can freely insert the wiper arm to the head of the wiper linkage shaft. Release the lock tab when the wiper arm is properly inserted. We will do it for both wiper arms. Next, we will make a final functional test, making sure that everything runs smoothly before completing the installation of the replacement wiper linkage. As we can see, everything is performing perfectly and fully operational. This has completed the installation of the replacement of the wiper linkage on the Ford F-150 pickup 2008 using U-Parts Group replacement part number WLF108. This has completed our installation video. If you are not yet a U-Parts Group YouTube channel member, please subscribe to receive news, products release, as well as new installations videos. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumb up. And if you find this video useful, please share it with your colleague, friends, and families. And for more information about U-Parts Group products lines and more installations instructions videos, please visit our website at upartsgroup.com. And thank you for watching.